was definitely, I think, a draft win to KT. Just looking at it, just objectively, and then once we got into the game, we got to see a little bit more of exactly why. And now it raises more questions. You know, I think that Smeb's Jace was a little bit iffy in the laning phase, but it looked great in the mid game. Do you want to let that one go? The TusiN's Taric, can't exactly ban that one out. There's too many other things to ban away. And where does the Aphelios priority go after that last one? Do you try to ban it away, but then you just give Ezreal to aiming? It's not easy here for Hanwha Life.
Yeah.
And I think they're definitely on the back foot coming into this second game's draft.
And banning the Karma, I think, is actually really interesting because now KT get a free first pick Ezreal if they want it. Likely that they do. I think that with Aphelios and the Kalista banned away, you have to first pick the Ezreal. And now Hanwha Life will be able to get the Trundle yet again. I imagine that they are just going to lock that one in. But the Kaiser to be picked, this time into the Ezreal. And that's where the Kaiser works, right? So let's hope that it's going to actually work out this time. I mean, I wouldn't mind if TusiN just went back to the Taric.
Taric, yeah.
It looked good.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it either. I think they're definitely considering, do we want to give aiming essentially, you know, all of the ability to do whatever he wants in the mid game and hopefully carry just right from there. As another one of those junglers that bonO used to play a bunch was the Xinjiao, but
anything that goes in and can't really get out is something that bonO really likes to play. Are they really? Okay, it's going to be Lee Sin. And Lee Sin can get out, so that might add something. As Lehends once again going to be on the Nautilus, he did start some good fights in the mid game. You saw that Hanwha Life were actually able to get themselves a lead.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with Lehends being able to do well in that instance. So let's just see how this one pans out. The Lee Sin, often a trap card here in the LCK. We'll see whether bonO is going to be able to put behind what was probably one of the worst jungle performances that we've seen so far in summer. That's objective. That's not us just being mean to bonO. He made so many mistakes in game one.
Yeah,
really needs to fix it for game two.
It was a difficult game one for sure. And now I think you might just want to target out Lava here. I was thinking Corki Azir, but they're actually going to take away the Zoe here. Can add an insane amount of pick to your lineup, as Hanwha Life are already looking like they want to just, you know, run it back, just do the same exact thing. And so you have to consider what they chose the last time, which was the Aatrox and Corki. Will they try to ban stuff like that away, or will they target other things? The Wukong is going to be taken away.
Speaking of taken away, the Galio going to be locked in here by Lava this time around. I really like it. You're able to activate the Kaiser pretty well if a fight starts sort of away from you. As all right, there's the Sylas, and this is something that KT can do on blue side because they flex the Sylas between Kuro and Smeb. Both of them have been playing a hell of a lot of the champion. And I think even the Mordekaiser is something that Kuro can play, but likely that is going to be heading towards the top side of the map, as we do have a pretty eclectic draft at the moment coming out from KT. Certainly less team fight, more smoke and mirrors, and trying to single out the one member of the team that you really want to take out of the fight, and that is what Smeb's job is going to be. But it's a blind Mordekaiser, and now Dudu's going to pick the Camille into it.
Yeah, you were talking about Camille in game number one alongside of the Galio. This time, Hanwha Life, they were listening to the English broadcast during the break. They're like, hey, you know what? That Camille's great with that champion. Let's do that. And I do think they needed a bit more damage. The Sylas was a little bit of a blocker towards the Ornn, but I think if you're going Ornn alongside of that many beefy boys plus Kai'Sa, I don't know if you really have the damage to take out Ezreal there for the aiming. So I like that Camille offers you a little bit of isolation. Can be difficult against the Tahm Kench. I feel like TusiN's role in this one is going to be, once again, very important from the support side.
Yep, and he's a fantastic Tahm Kench player as well. Ezreal Tahm Kench is, in fact, the lane that aiming and TusiN like to play together. as we've seen them up getting player of the game together after their performance on the Ezreal and the Tahm Kench. And I won't repeat what was said by the Korean commentators because I thought it was a little bit mean, but maybe you understand what that is, as aiming was represented as Ezreal in the opening video as the representative for KT. So we have a look over this roster, pretty standard Galio stuff here, as Viper is going to attempt to be that hyper carry as we move into the later stages, not having to deal with the extreme volume of years that KT had in game number 1. They're up against Aiming's Ezreal though, and especially with the Tahm Kench, you've already spoken about this, but Aiming's very aggressive. So utilizing the Tahm Kench's safety might help him when he's arcane shifting forward at every possible opportunity. Let's see how it goes, as we are onto Summoner's Rift for what could be the final game of the night, unless Hanwha Life managed to turn things around.
Well, the last time you and I cast together, it went all 6 games, Atlas. So hopefully I can bring you another nice present and bring you the 6 games here. Although I do have faith in aiming TusiN. I think that up against this comp, they are going to be so crucial up against what Hanwha Life have brought in terms of that hard engage. They're going to take out that ward there, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on that guy right there. They're actually continuing with the engage here.
Yeah, moving all the way through. Is aiming in TusiN, not going to get into any trouble by the looks of things, as Lehends gets himself all the way into the brush. And yeah, this bottom side is well and truly warded, and Hanwha Life are in full vision of their opposition. That's all right, Kuro. You know that they're there. Let's be careful.
I thought that maybe bonO would just get in there and take the blue away, but he's just going to play it safe. Or not the blue, the red. He's just going to play it safe and go for his own blue. And just go for a bit of a normal clear. You can see a lot of pings on the red, as that's what Hanwha Life was expecting. But maybe it's also a little bit of a mind game from bonO that he's not going to go in there. We got 4 Conqueror on the side of KT.
We are conquering. That's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, where's the Conqueror there, TusiN?
Yeah, what you think?
You're messing with the team spirit.
You need to have 4 Conquerors and a Guardian. That's how you win, based on the class system. As full knowledge, CAD going for some vertical jungling. I have a feeling bonO's just going to be able to go for the same thing as our supports do, trade some health bar. But it's not really working out super impactfully for either side. Smeb up here. Let's see how he goes on the Mordekaiser. Lands that obliterate, so he's got that one going for him.
Yeah, good start, although it's not going to be the easiest lane in the world, as bonO, he's not going to his red. I don't really...
He knows that he doesn't have a red buff.
I don't really get this. I mean, he's going to go clear his Raptors, and yeah, I mean, he'll get an earlier reset on that, but I mean, why is he playing so safe on the Lee Sin when he knew that CAD went into his red buff? He could have easily taken the blue or the red of the enemy team. Instead, he's like, okay, I guess I'll just I'll accept getting 3 buffed.
Yeah, and that's what he did. So I'm also perplexed. Might just go to a Rift Scuttler now on the south side. But yeah, that's very odd. bonO has, you know, he had a disaster of a game 1, so it might be a confidence issue out from this guy. He just doesn't want to have any issues, which, you know, you could possibly understand, but getting 3 buffed feels bad every single day of the week.
Yeah. I actually, I saw Hirai talking to him after the game. They were having a pretty in-depth conversation. I wonder what was exchanged in that conversation. Maybe Hirai said to him, hey man, you're not having a great day. I just want you to play safe, calm, collect, to try to get yourself back, you know, on your feet here. And maybe that led to bonO being a little bit overly safe here, as now he's looking to perhaps overcompensate, gets in there, gets seen, and now he does have to back away. The odd pathing from CAD to try to get into the enemy jungle and take the red and a little bit of the Raptors does mean that actually they will be even on farm for now, but CAD does have a lot more of his jungleable left. of available for him. And he'll be able to take that down real quick.
Yeah. At least bonO didn't die there, but wasn't able to take away the red side Gromp. But look, aiming and TusiN is still in the game, as you can see. So that is what we're going to be hanging our hats on if you're looking for KT to find some success. Hanwha Life, they also do rely on their bottom lane, so this is going to be the most important point for both of these teams, as Kuro wins out on that trade quite nicely, but you can see mana bars are an issue for at least the KT mid laner.
Yeah. I really did like the Sylas pick into this team, by the way. You already were looking at Subjugate, Hero's Entrance, and I think it was the Kai'Sa? Yeah, the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus. So he had 4 members already where it's like, okay, I mean, I've got some good ults to steal here. I can go ahead and take it, have a pretty free lane up against the Galio. Be all good with that.
All right, there's the hook shot. Tries to lock down bonO, who lands the Q, needs one more auto, but Tempest will do it, and that guarantees bonO's life. Really well played by the KT jungler. That's a bounce back if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, finally gets his feet underneath him. He's able to stabilize here for a bit. It wasn't the cleanest dive, but they got the job done, as it looked like Smeb was able to pull him in and line it up after Dudu did go for the hook shot. So nicely played by the two of them. It does give up this early Mountain Drake, but that's not going to be too much of a big deal. Getting that Lehends and even the Mordekaiser ahead of this somewhat difficult lane early is going to be quite nice.
Yep, having a look at it one more time. Dudu flashes, but
actually
he lands right on the edge.
Back in, actually. I thought he got pulled.
I think he did get pulled, and then he hook shot.
And then he hooks in.
Back in again.
Yeah. And then flashes. I think he should have tried to hook shot. Dodge the Q with this flash. I don't think they would have had any ability to close the distance if he had gone for that line of play. But wanted to go for the stun and potentially lock him in under the turret, but it didn't look like he had turret aggro there just yet because it was onto Smeb instead of bonO, who was the guy he stunned. So you can see the line of thinking. Didn't pan out for Dudu. No Dududungas here to start off for him.
Nope. Not at this stage. Aiming and TusiN back together again as they push this wave in very even farm as far as the bottom side of the map. So nothing to really report as Lehends going to be joined by Cad.
They're trying to make the Galio game work here, I think.
Yeah, but the dredge line not going to land. TusiN knows that he just needs to stay a little bit further back. Ooh. As aiming even gets that cannon creep. I was half expecting that one not to land, but I think you might have been expecting as well. Tongue Lash lands onto Viper as well.
Yeah, TusiN sniped that one. I was looking at Lehends and Cad coming over. I'm like, you guys, even 3v2, you're not going to get a kill against Ezreal, Tahm, Kench with double flash and exhaust. But with the Galio coming down, they were looking to kind of wombo combo and hopefully burst someone with level 6 Kai'Sa. Didn't pan out, though. You need that first hook to land. And so the dig was up. And that was it. bonO, he just hit level 6, actually, on the Krugs. Doesn't look like they're going to go for another dive this time. Maybe just take out the Rift Herald early.
Yep, and we're going to have Cad coming down again. If first you don't succeed, try again. As KT, they're getting to work on Shelly. And Cad is going to be able to steal away yet another buff. There haven't been too many that boNo's been able to claim, but he might be able to collect the enemy red buff this time around, but hasn't really been his playstyle so far today, so instead, he's going to get to work on this red buff, and I believe Cad is just going to have a free ride back to his own jungle to grab yet another red buff for himself.
Yeah. It's very interesting. You think of Lehends in pro play and in solo queue, you see him as quite aggressive early when he's really strong, especially once he hits level 6. But bonO is kind of, you know, he's flipping the script on that one, kind of being a little bit different, playing very safe, just going for the objectives and for the, you know, the easy kills essentially on the dives instead of, I mean, going for what looks like, from our view, a pretty free couple of buffs.
Yep, right now pulling out the enemy red though, so is able to get over there. No, I tell a lie. I thought I saw him doing that on the minimap. That wasn't the case. And he's just going to allow no red buffs to go over to bonO at all this game so far.
He's just like, I got caught too many times last game. That's you know, the maximum amount of times I'm allowed to be caught in this series. So unfortunately, I can't take any risks of getting caught all out by myself. If I die on a dive, that's fine, but can't die by myself.
Oh, Smeb having a great time here towards the top side. Currently close to a couple of waves ahead, but with these minions moving in, it's more like one and a bit. And Dudu, remember, he was the one that picked the Camille into the Mordekaiser. Then dove, didn't quite find his opportunity, so... Ooh, Smeb could have activated the passive there and does eventually get it with that last obliterate, but it was almost a much better trade than what we just saw.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice time for the Mordekaiser versus Camille. It feels you get that arm guard and you already got the Camille behind because of the little gank, so you're sitting pretty, you're not taking too much damage. Camille needs, you know, at least a couple items to really start getting in your face and doing enough damage to threaten your life, especially when you have the Death Realm available to just cut back some of the damage and do some of your own extra. And so it's actually Smeb after that first gank who's putting on a lot of pressure here early on. And bonO really hasn't had to revisit, although he is heading up towards the top side once again. This does mean he could give away the Infernal, though.
Yeah, that is another Drake that they're going to miss out on, so that is really bad news. You can see bonO, he decides to counter jungle when it's actually a really bad idea, to be honest. Giving away those two Drakes is real bad news, but...
That ward.
Looks like they should be able to grab this as the Q does connect once again. There's a Hextech ultimatum, and Smeb is going to survive in the end.
That ward was so sad. It's like it sees absolutely nothing. They've got full vision with their own control ward, and that is just the easiest alley-oop as well into the kill. They get the kill, they drop a couple of plates down, they put the Shelly down. It's very cookie cutter, something you would teach a very new player to pro player, something like that. You know, just go for these kind of setup plays, as he might actually get caught here.
Yep, interrupted as he has to control ward. That was a flash somewhere. I don't know. I heard the flash button. As bonO, he's going to get knocked up. He's in the death room now, guys. Goodbye. Cad flashed. Maybe Lehends did as well. Oh, was it a Hex flash? That would have been completely fine.
Maybe like a little one? I don't know.
A little one? Little baby Hex flash?
Itty bitty Hex flash.
So, scary that now KT do need to stop the next few Drakes to avoid Hanwha Life getting to that soul point. The Mountain and Infernal, same Drakes that we got last game as far as the first two, but Ocean Soul is much scarier. You guys saw it in the Mad movie that we had in between our games.
Yeah.
BDD demonstrating that the way you win is to have Ocean Soul. And then you just auto-attack everyone as Azir, and you're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
He's also a phenomenal player, but that particular play illustrated exactly the power of Ocean Drake. And have a look at it once again.
Yeah. The ward, very sad. And then Dudu here, he does have flash, but he's like, yeah, I'm pretty dead. I think perhaps had he gone for the super outplay and maybe flash in for another auto, maybe he gets close, but I don't know. I think it's better to just save it and hope that you can lane safer. Although he should have known that if he dies, he's going to lose his turret anyway, so could have set up some kind of freeze or maybe played it safer from there. So there's the Hex Flash from the side of Lehends. We'll be seeing more of that as this game does come along.
Absolutely. As in goes Kuro. He gets taunted though, and then punched. But in the end wins the trade because he's Sylas, spins around a whole bunch. Looks like he's not doing damage, but he actually is. His aiming moves out of the way. And the Q is going to kill the rest of the minions. Control ward there in the brush. One put down here as well as KT look to take control of the bottom lane, understanding that now is probably about time that they decide to prioritize some dragons. TusiN though, Gonna get punished for it. Goes golden. Does still have flash and exhaust available. And avoids the dredge line. Teleport's coming in. There's the heroic entrance as Lava tries to get himself out of the way. But he's in the death realm now as Smeb diving on top of the gargoyle, trying to get him out of this fight. We'll get him back in there though, as there's the huge kickback, and eventually Lava will fall. It's a catastrophe in this fight, but KT do come out ahead with a couple of kills. Minute and a half left on the Drake. Not exactly something worth fighting for at its current moment, but bonO will finally be able to get himself a few camps of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, they were kind of just all bunched up there. Hanwha perhaps panicking a little bit after they went for the bait that is the Tahm Kench. I know the catfish is probably looking really delicious, and you're thinking you're going to have a really nice dinner today. Well, that was not the case. You get baited in hard. Lava gets baited in. Perfect teleport here from Smeb to force everybody to kind of stick around, because you're thinking, hey, maybe we can turn this one. But how about a 4-man knockup just casually? As I think that was the Sylas that got in there. And
I think it was the depth charge.
Yeah, stole the depth charge, knocks everybody up. And that's why the Sylas looks really good into this comp. You're looking at so many team fight, game-changing ultimates, and you're like, well, with just one ult like that, I'm going to change the game. And immediately from there, they were able to chase him down as, you know, you've got Ezreal, you've got Sylas, Lee. You're not getting away from this comp if they get ahead in a team fight. And so it's now miles ahead.
Yeah, I just looked at the gold. What the hell?
Yeah.
What happened?
It's
like
top lane. It's top lane just getting super far ahead. Every other lane going even or slightly ahead for KT. And TusiN might be the bait again here.
Oh no, he fails the flash! It's a disaster. That's the blast cone. That's going to get Kuro out of there. But now, Soul Point should be pretty comfy for Hanwha Life as they pull out the Ocean Drake. bonO is taking a mid-outer turret. And yes, it is just Soul Point. It's not the actual soul, but still. CAD should be taken down here. Smeb flashing in on top of him. Death Realm was there as the Drake is taken by Hanwha Life. But are they going to be able to stay alive in this fight as Lava? He goes golden, and everyone's just going to wait for the Galio to get out. And now they're looking to try and get Dudu as well as Viper. Oh no, the top laner goes down. I mean, Viper is well and truly dead. He's going to try and take Kuro with him. There's the kick flash. Don't know whether that was necessary, but they are still able to grab that kill. And they're 8,000 gold ahead now. And maybe they're just going to win the game within 4.5 minutes, and then it doesn't matter that Dragon Soul was there for Hanwha Life.
Yeah, a bit of a catastrophe for the side of Hanwha. They get the pick this time as TusiN. I think he could have just blasted the pillar and taken the blast plant, but he wanted to get all the way over the wall. Did not work out. And I think they still could have won this 4v5 had bonO just stuck around. You Death Realm the enemy jungler. Your jungler comes in and smites it. And you're so far ahead that I think you can just win from there. I mean, Smeb is so fed right now.
Oh, yeah.
That there's no way that Cat's just going to survive in that one.
Well, now they're looking to try and kill Kuro, who gets himself a Hextech ultimatum. We'll see whether that actually helps them out there as he puts Cat in it. And gets haunted, and that's going to be an easy kill going over to Viper. Meanwhile, on the rest of the map, KT isn't doing anything. So that was just free. Yeah, Baron's not even on the map yet, guys. It's 18 minutes in. And it feels like this is just getting completely out of control. But getting a kill onto Kuro certainly means something.
Yeah, not much to talk about here. I think KT were in this awkward spot where a lot of members were backing or clearing out jungles or pushing out lanes, and they were like, well, I guess Kuro was a little bit ahead of the curve on that one. He was like 30 seconds ahead of his team as he was way too far down the lane, and 5 members were easily able to get up there and take him out. So,
Smeb going for the Build-A-Bear workshop, well and truly. I actually love it though. So sometimes people just go for the Zhonyas as like the second item because that's what you're supposed to do. Smeb didn't really want to complete that because he still has an unbroken stopwatch. So you may as well use it, get the value out of it, before you then build the Zhonyas. Because the Zhonyas is there for some stats, but the active of the stopwatch is part of the value. So you may as well sit on it, build yourself some extra stats.
Yeah.
Until you have no stopwatch available. and then you can put it together at that point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely the main part of Zhonya's, right? The active, and the only problem that you might run into is inventory space, but we'll see how he does handle that. Maybe he can just buy a straight-up item with his insane amount of gold that he must have in this one. He's 4-0-4, thanks to a nice focus from his own jungler and getting ahead there. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta be careful when you're on soul point, but I think especially with the fed Mordekaiser, who's 4 levels above the enemy jungler, you can probably just run at Trundle and deny any chance at a smite and take every Ocean Drake from here on out, if it even gets to that point. I think we'll probably see 1 or 2 more, and then KT will probably win a team fight, take Baron, and then eventually win the game. I'm not really sure how Hanwha Life are going to get this one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a toughie. You can see aiming, bullying Lehends away from that control ward as well. You can see he's playing with confidence. Kuro is winning by about 40 CS in the mid lane. And bonO, to his credit, really looks different to what we saw in game number 1 on a champion that he hasn't really played as much. I mean, he was the Olaf and Jarvan 2 trick. He played a heck of a lot of Lee Sin, of course, when he was playing for BBQ, to varying success, to be perfectly honest. But it does certainly fit into his wheelhouse. It's just good to see that it didn't really affect him. It shows that that conversation with Hiraya really did help him out. And you were talking about inventory space. Smeb's not too worried about that, as Dudu's going to have his back stopped, because aiming just feels like being a nuisance.
Yeah, Smeb casually picks up the plated Nashers. And they're just going to chill around the Ocean Drake. I think if Hanwha Life play extremely passively from here, we might have this game delayed. But they do have to hope for a late game, like a late game, where they can get that
bonO just a straight up int. That's going to be the result of that. Depth charge comes down once again as Smeb has the death drum. He's going to put Dudu in it and lands all the abilities as well. Now just trying to chase after him. Hextech Ultimatum comes in, but Smeb does get the solo kill. He's just so far ahead as Kuro is going to be taken down. Lava not going to be just as punching his way out of this one, and Smeb is just gigantic. He's got so many extra stats as well as Viper doing what he can, but aiming's just bouncing around the fight, having the best time you can possibly have. And Hanwha Life, it was a heroic effort, but unfortunately, it just was not enough. And KT will be able to deny the Drake and then continue to push, possibly even just grabbing a Baron.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't look like too bad of an engage after you find bonO, as Lehends is desperately trying to carry his team in 2 games in a row now on Nautilus, but it just wasn't meant to be in this one, as Camille looks so flimsy. I mean, I was just watching the Death Realm the whole time. It's like he couldn't do anything. So the follow-up engage from Lava was really good. Got to hand it to him, but they're just too far behind. I mean, aiming is totally protected. Smeb is frontlining and doing insane amounts of damage, as is aiming just able to arcane shift forward and throw out
미드 봐줄게, 미드 봐줄게.
billions of damage.
빼면서 해봐, 빼면서
Watch him
살면서.
avoid the Justice Punch, by the way. Bye.
나 카밀 들어갔고.
Yeah.
카밀 잡았어 일단.
I got Camille
천천히.
slowly, and then here we go.
Lehends, Cat, I don't know whether that's helping.
Nice filler.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Well, they're just going to take the Baron here, I think.
Yeah.
Cat doesn't have flash. They are down 11,000 gold almost.
At 23 minutes, might I add. Smeb, he's gatekeeper. He's very scary looking, and that's for good reason.
Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, because the game does feel kind of over from here, to be honest, I'm like, who do we give player of the game to? I think it's got to be bonO, to be honest. It's not aiming. Thank you for crossing that out. I have that already checked from earlier.
I mean, bonO makes some sense, but also Smeb is straight hard carrying this game.
But
and I mean, it was because of bonO, you know, allowed him to get fed. But he did play some great team fighting Mordekaiser, which is something that we don't see a lot in the LCK. Something that's started cropping up. I think Keen is another example of someone that has certainly figured it out after Zoom gave us the lesson at MSC. certainly looked very, very good.
Sat all of us down and kind of taught us what's what.
By the way, this is what's good about this champion.
Yeah, I mean,
5 levels ahead of Cad.
you can't really do what he was able to do in this game without getting really fed early on. But he did play it well from ahead, so it's kind of an interesting idea.
Well, Dudu's going to go for the engage. He dives onto aiming as the heroic entrance is going to be there, but Devour is one hell of an ability. It is going to cost TusiN his life, as now Kuro's looking for the depth charge. He wants to get it onto a priority target, as there's the Death Realm onto Cad. He walks to the edge of it and now has to accept his fate. So it's a 1-for-1 in the end. It was the last-ditch attempted fight from Hanwha Life, and honestly, it could have gone worse. They're still going to lose their inhibitor top lane, and probably bottom lane, and maybe their Nexus. But it could have been worse.
Yeah, they could have not gotten the Tahm Kench, but that does highlight why you go for the Tahm Kench in this kind of comp. There was so much hard engage available. Even though they only saw Kai'Sa Trundle, they had already played Kai'Sa Nautilus in the bottom lane, and Galio is available. So I think the Tahm Kench pick second behind the Ezreal was actually a very smart decision. Perhaps Hanwha Life could have changed up their draft after seeing the Tahm Kench, but they had an idea in mind and they went for it. It's kind of annoying that these Ocean Soul, these Ocean Rift bushes
탑
don't
봐줄게.
render
탑
properly.
탑 봐줘. 천천히 빼면서. 빼면서 하면 이겨, 빼면서 하면 이겨.
As you're backing, let's go back in. Slowly, slowly.
Oh, so sad.
트런들 일단 잡았거든.
Now we've
Got Trundle.
오케이. 이번 거 깨자. 이번에 깝치면 그냥 다이브 압박 줄 거야.
Smeb is the only one talking, by the way. He has
Yeah.
taken this series by the horns.
If they get cocky, I'll just put dive pressure on them. And you can tell that production's loving it. Finally, Smeb's having a good game. They're like, hey, every Smeb highlight, get them rolling right now like hotcakes. We're selling them.
Yep. But 13,000 is the lead now. It's looking like, Valdez, you're not going to be able to stay true to your promise of maximum games.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah, not going to get you value. Not going to get your money's worth, you know? I should be the one to pull.
Not value Valdez today.
Oh my god, 4.3k gold
Yeah.
in the lead. As Cad's just going to die to aiming here, who's 4 levels ahead of him. True Shot Barrage, Flash does come out. That would have been a style points ult for the kill. But still gets the Flash. Would have died had that Flash not been there. As, yep, this mid inhibitor turret is going to die. Smeb down here towards the bottom side. He has a Blasting Wand and a Ruby Crystal. Okay, I'm going to hold that thought. Good Arcane Shift there from aiming. Gets himself out of the way of Dudu's engage. And that's inhibitor number 2 going down. Inhibitor number 3 coming up immediately afterwards. That's a real deep teleport. Don't know where bonO is. Saw him down towards that Ocean Drake. As in goes Galio. And that is going to be the Hextech ultimatum. Dudu does get a really big shield after the heroic entrance, but Smeb, he's put him into the Death Realm and then he's ran through the base gate. That was rude. The Nautilus is going to go down though as the Death Realm finishes, and aiming's going to be there to try and tidy up. Meanwhile, it was 4v5 because bonO was randomly getting a dragon.
Yeah, why not at this point? Might as well min-max and get the maximum amount of points. Maybe we can hit a high score, is what bonO's saying.
Yep.
They didn't need him. He had already done his job in the early game. And
Kuro, that was a sacrificial play right there as aiming. Trying to get the kill onto Dudu. He does go golden for a moment. Viper does the same thing. You may as well put it on cooldown as Smeb. He's not going to be dying this game, Viper. He is! He walked back into turret range.
I'm giving my vote to bonO.
All right, for that dragon. He got the dragon. He was focusing on what you're supposed to focus on. The game isn't over yet, though, guys. It should be, but it's not. His aiming, he can Arcane Shift out if he wants to, as there's the flash forward. And Lava is going to get the Arcane Shift here as bonO just going to die. And, okay, in goes the Tahm Kench. TusiN trying to go 1 versus 2. Thought maybe he'd have someone that he'd brought with him as, yeah, cue the yakety sack. That's going to go down. Aiming's going for the hero play as the Nexus is dying, guys. Another Arcane Shift will be available relatively soon, but the Void Seeker finds him. The invisible one, of course, just to make us very confused. As, yeah, Super Creeps, they are going to deal with this one. KT couldn't quite aim for it. They have managed to pick up the aggro as there we go. Kuro comes in and says, stop the funny business, we're taking the 2-0, and they do it.